Welcome to the Bag Maker's Workroom. I am Chris with Simply Classic, and today is January 2nd, Thursday, January 2nd, 2025. Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to the Bag Maker's Workroom. I do want to start out by telling you that we do not have internet tonight, so we are working off hotspots. So hopefully, for y'all, and if things are a little bit slow with the slideshow, with us. So it's now early this afternoon, and unfortunately, it's something that we have a lot of experience with this year with all of the hurricanes and things that we have had going on. So tonight's episode is all about designer handbag inspiration. And we are here every Thursday, obviously, 2025. I think that we're going to try to take a break here because I think the audio is super bad. Unfortunately, not having internet tonight is really hurting us.
We moved it tomorrow.
I know there's a few of you on tonight. I think what we might try to do is give it about a half hour, and if it doesn't work, then we may move it to tomorrow evening. I'm sorry. This internet, we've been without for a while. I see some of you trying to get on and trying to participate, but internet, without it, you can't hardly do anything anymore. So we're going to give it about 30 minutes. We will try to come back on. Hopefully it'll be there. If not, we'll put a post and let you know when we'll be on tomorrow evening.
It's better.
Oh, it is better? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting different.
Sorry, everyone.
Okay. So let's start again. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are super excited, obviously, for the new year. We hope that you had a wonderful holiday season with all of your families. New Year is typically kind of the close of the holiday season for me. Maybe not for everybody, but it's kind of like the finality of the past year. We have a new year ahead of us, and I'm ready to get going. We have a lot of great things planned. Of course, we will be here every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We love that you are here to join us live, start out your new year right. And if you cannot join us live, no worries. You can watch the replay anytime on our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the bell notification, like and subscribe to the video, and that way you'll be notified of any time we post a video or we go live. Okay, so we are going to start this evening with the Simply Classic Scoop as normal. And before we even get into that, I'd like to say that this week's theme is designer handbag inspiration. And a few days ago, Marnie posted on the Facebook group, and I'd like to read her comment. She said, I came across your YouTube channel early in 2022. Then I got hooked on your designer handbag inspiration series, featuring your design analysis of elements of style, including proportion and specific features, then explaining or demonstrating how we could apply them to our bags. That made fascinating watching. I know you have so much on your plate right now with the business, with patterns, and your shop, but I'd love if you were able to add one or two of that type of video to your output again. And it's perfect timing because that's exactly what we're going over tonight. That is basically what this whole live stream is about, is designer handbag inspiration. So it was perfect timing, Marnie. We already had it on the schedule, so let's go ahead and dive right in. We're going to start off with the Simply Classic Scoop. And in the Simply Classic Scoop, we just want to remind you, first of all, that we do have one bag or one virtual bag class left. So the leather bag making by machine, the kits are being mailed Monday. We have one seat left. So if you'd like to go ahead and get it, go ahead and get online and get that done. Hopefully you have internet. It'll go a lot quicker than what we have going on right now. But yes, if you did sign up, then you will receive your kit next week. We have them all getting ready, cut, prepped, ready to go, and we're excited about getting the class started. It is from January 17th to January 27th. Okay. The other thing we want to let you know about is, of course, next month already, because we're in January, we're going to Chattanooga. We will be there February 28th and March 1st for 2 classes, a Simple Classic Clutch class and a Bertram class. So if you're able to join, we would love to see you in Chattanooga. The other thing we want to let you know about is the Fusion 45 thread did arrive. We have it on the website. We have all 25 colors. Believe it or not, we've already sold out of a few. So we've already placed another order. It should be here maybe by tomorrow, Saturday at the latest. We'll go ahead and get those up and make sure that we keep enough in stock so that you can get your Text 45 thread. Okay, one other thing we want to tell you about is Size Swag. I'm sure you all know who she is. It did a coupon calendar this year. And so she put together this exclusive coupon calendar for 2025. It features 4 to 6 coupons per month from over 50 vendors. And you can see all the vendors there on the back of that calendar. There's a bunch of people, basically all of the people you probably watch, know, and love. Simply Classic is featured in October. And for 1 week in October, you'll get 20% off our entire store, our entire website. So the cost of the calendar is $40. You can get it on Size Swag's website. And if you plan to spend, $200 on bag making supplies this year, then the calendar will pay for itself. I mean, most people are giving either 15 or 20% off. And let's face it, we can pretty much spend $200 like in no time, right? So that's an easy thing to do. We do have a calendar coming to us. It will be here hopefully tomorrow, the next day, next week at the latest. I think it's on its way. We don't have it yet. But as soon as we have it, we are going to mail it to the winner because we are going to go ahead and do a giveaway for the calendar. So we'll do that at the end of the live stream tonight. So go ahead and stay tuned for that. And we'll let you know the keyword when we get closer to the end. Okay. Now, one thing that happened this week that we are really excited about is we are going to be in Sacramento, California on September 12th through 14th for the Sac Bag and Sew Expo. This is it's a new event. It's hosted by purse makers, and it is going to be amazing. So again, it's in Sacramento, California, September 12th through 14th. They're still finalizing the schedule, but they already have some amazing classes planned. A lot of you know Shnova from That's So Nova. I know she's going to be a teacher. I'll be teaching 3 classes. There's going to be a fashion show during the event so that you can enter your favorite bag to win some exciting prizes. I know that registration opens on January 15th, and they do have limited VIP tickets that are going to be available. So check out their website and get ready to go ahead and maybe buy a plane ticket depending on where you are. Hopefully, if you're in California, you can just slide on over, and we'd love to see you there. So we're finalizing our schedule right now as far as what we're going to teach. We're putting our content together, but it's going to be 3 different bags. So we're super excited. Yay! Not very often we get out to the West Coast, so it's really exciting. Okay, tonight we're going to combine the Sharpen Your Skills and the featured products and the perfect pairings kind of all in one. So because we're talking about designer handbag inspiration, we're going to kind of take all those things. We're going to take the color, we're going to look at proportions, we're going to look at how to translate that onto one of your bags. So we're going to go to a slide, and I want to show you what we're going to look at first. So this is a Brahmin wallet. It is called the Addy wallet. And I love the way they use these different colors and textures in this wallet. Obviously, all kind of the same tones, right? All brown, although they snuck a little black in there. And let's say that we want to recreate this look on a wallet that we're going to do. So what I would suggest is to go and maybe use the Gemella wallet. So let's take a look at the Gemella wallet. We're going to go to the overhead now. And for those of you who have made the Gemella wallet, you know that basically it is a wallet that has one large section for the exterior. Okay, so this here is one large piece. So what we would do is translate this here. Obviously, we're going to change the configuration, but we want this section right here, okay, to just carry on and be this long piece. So if I want to take this and put it onto this wallet, I'm going to show you how to do that. So what you want to start out by doing is printing a picture of the bag or wallet or whatever it is you're making. So in this case, I went ahead and printed this. Does not matter how big or how small, you just need to print it. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so that you can see this a little bit better. And you can see I have a bunch of numbers on here. I'm going to tell you how I did that, because so much of bag making is proportion. If you were to take these colors and use different proportions on a bag or wallet, it wouldn't look the same. And what we're trying to do is replicate this designer look and feel with some of our faux leathers or some of the things we have in stock. So let's take a look at how to do this. You're gonna have to do a little math, but I'm gonna walk you through it. So on your picture that you print, you're going to measure your total height in this case. So you can see that this is 3 inches. Okay, so that's my overall height of this wallet. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from the top, just this section right here. So basically this top section, I'm going to see what that is. And when I measure that, it measures 1.5 inches. So I'm going to take 1.5 inches and I'm going to divide it by the overall height, which is 3. And I'm going to get roughly 50%. Then I'm going to move the ruler down and I'm going to measure just this small little black section right here. And I can see that's about a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to divide 1/4 inch by 3 to get the corresponding percent. Then I'm going to move this down and I'm going to measure the next section and see how big that is. That's about 1/2 inch. Divide the 1/2 inch by 3 to get the proportion for that. And then we're going to come down to this last section and do the same thing. Okay, so now I have a percentage that I can apply to each one of these different sections. And I have that done out here. Now, the thing you have to remember is you have to add seam allowance to this. So if I want to use, in my case, let's say a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So on the Jamela wallet, we have a zipper at the top, we have a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then we also have a seam here at the bottom. So that would be for a 1/4 inch. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a 1/4 inch to this piece for the top and a 1/4 inch for the bottom. So a total of a 1/2 inch. So when I did my little calculation, now you're saying, well, what am I adding it to? You're going to measure the total height of your bag. Okay, so just take your ruler, go ahead and I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and you're going to measure whatever bag you want to put it on, or even look at the measurements on the pattern. That will tell you what it is as well. And I'm going to take my percentage. So let's say this section here is 1.5. Overall, the whole thing is 3. So that's 50%. I'm going to take that 50% and I'm going to multiply it times the overall height, the finished height of my bag that I want to apply it to. Then I'm going to add a 1/2 inch seam allowance. That's a 1/4 inch seam allowance for the top, a 1/4 inch seam allowance for the bottom. I'm going to do the same thing for this small piece. Okay, I'm going to take that 1/4 inch, divide it by 3 to get a percentage, multiply it to, for the overall height of this bag. Then I'm going to add a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So when I'm done, I'm going to have 4 different pieces, all with 1/2 inch, or it's a 1/2 inch seam allowance, but the 1/4 inch on the top, 1/4 inch on the bottom of each one of these pieces. And I'll have all separate pieces. And then I'm going to sew them all together. So I wanted to take this and maybe use it not so literal. I loved the proportions of this, but I didn't have necessarily the exact colors. So what I decided to do was to use some different colors. So here's what I came up with. So you can see here the proportions are very similar to the photo. And we're going to throw up a slide right now and show you a side-by-side comparison so you can see. The top there is the Brahmin bag, or the Brahmin wallet, and then the bottom is my rendition of that. So I want to show you what materials I used to do it. And we're going to go back to the overhead. And for this top here, I used our navy ostrich. For the black, I used just a black large scale croc. Okay. for the small section here, this is the lightweight snake, and it's in the, I believe, blue-brown. And this snake, you see, has a lot of different colorways in it. We have different sections. So what I did is I just cut the section I wanted because I wanted to show this navy in the wallet. So I just cut that one little section out and used it here in this stripe. And then the last thing I used is our textured cream for the bottom. And there are my 4 different pieces for this wallet. Okay, so from here, what I would do is lay my pattern piece on top, go ahead and cut it out. I'm going to try to zoom out a little bit more so you can see. Lay the pattern piece on top, and then when you're done, the wallet would fold in half this way. You'd have a zipper at the top, and you'd have a flap, and this would be the wallet. Okay? So that's how you figure proportion. So we're going to take a look at one more. We're not going to run through the numbers per se, but I do want to show you. We're going to throw up this photo first, and this is another Brahmin bag. And in this one here, they use black and cream. They use some snake in there as well. And what I did was try to find some faux that I thought matched. And here is what I came up with. So this is our, well, first of all, I went through, measured my photo, okay, to figure out what proportion needed to go where. And again, there's 4 different colors here. You've got the cream, you've got a little bit of brown, you've got like a snake, and then you've got the black. So what I did is I used our croc stitch in the, we call it croc stitch, it's the crocodile ostrich in the cream color. And I just made sure I put that medallion right in the center, just like the photo. I then used a solid chocolate brown for this small strip here. I went back to using the lightweight snake in the blue-brown, only this time, instead of using this portion, I just used this little strip right here. And that's this part here. And then the last thing I used was our large-scale black. And these 4 pieces of faux gave us this here. And we're going to throw up a slide to show you side by side what that looks like. So the one at the top is the Brahmin bag, and the one at the bottom is my put together based on the faux that we have. So what I would do from there is I would take my pattern piece, I would put it right on top of this. I would go ahead and put this together first, put my pattern piece on top, and then go ahead and cut it out. Now, I will tell you that every single time I changed color, I changed thread in this case. So I went ahead and stitched on this chocolate brown. And then when I top stitched on that chocolate brown, I went ahead and changed the color of the thread to chocolate brown. When I did the next one, I changed the color to cream. And when I did the next one, I changed the color to black, so that you can see that you don't see really any thread there. Everything blends in beautifully, and it is a really high-end look. And honestly, you know, by myself, I probably wouldn't have put these together. I mean, that's one of those things that I looked at the photo and I started looking around the workroom and I said, what can I do to replicate this? And it really came out pretty well. We were pretty excited about this one. I think it came out real nice. Okay. So that is kind of a sharpen your skills section, as well as the pairings and our featured product all together in one. It's kind of a all together one tonight. And we are now going to move on to the Thursday thread. And we're going to continue with our bag making history, because we've been talking a lot about history and a lot of you have enjoyed it. I have too. It has really been fun for me because I'm learning with you. And we're going to talk more about modern bag making. So we're going to start basically at the 1950s and move forward from there. And a lot has changed in bag making over the past, since the 50s, basically. That's what, 80 years? So the last time we talked, we were talking about World War II and how the war really forced people to kind of use what they had. They didn't have access to a lot of things that they had prior to the war, and they went to a lot of cotton and exotic leathers when making their bags. They just kind of had to use what they had, and it worked for them. But that all changed in the 50s thanks to the post-war economic boom. And one of the first things that happened was clothing silhouettes got smaller, and so the purses did too. And so designers began experimenting with new materials like lucite for structured and embellished bags. And we have a slide here of a couple of lucite bags, and they're so cute. I mean, look at them. I think the one on the right there kind of looks like a birthday cake. It's kind of interesting to me, like with the like frosting on the bottom and the candles on the top. I don't know, it's so cute. So anyway, these are examples of lucite bags. And then also leather and cloth bags were popular as well. And this is an ad from the 1950s that actually showed how the ads kind of geared towards men, because men were usually the ones who controlled the family's finances. So here in this ad, we have a housewife giving her husband a little kiss, thank you for the bag. And it was, I just thought that was a cute little ad. But you can see here a lot of the silhouettes of these bags are very similar to what we see today. I mean, that one down there in the right-hand bottom is something I see all the time. It is really not that different. I mean, there's only so many silhouettes you can make with a bag, right? And they started back then and kept moving forward. So it was very popular at that time to match your bag to your hat and your other accessories. So a lot of women went from having just a few bags to basically having a bag for every outfit. So they started collecting bags. At this point, mass media was really beginning to influence bags people carried, not just the styles, but the specific bags. And it was still the golden age of Hollywood and the beginning of cable TV. So celebrities became more influential to the average American. In the 1950s, Grace Kelly was photographed with a large Hermes bag that she was holding in front of her to disguise her pregnancy. The bag exploded in popularity and eventually was renamed the Kelly. And you can see there on the right, that is a modern version of the Hermes Kelly bag. Chanel was another popular designer at the time. And in the 50s, Coco Chanel released the Chanel 255, which was the iconic quilted bag with the chain strap, which we're actually going to show you in just a few minutes. In the 60s, it appeared in a movie at Breakfast at Tiffany's, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen, and it was also carried by Jackie O. And that made it very highly coveted. So you were seeing a lot of influence from celebrities at this point with their handbags, and even, I mean, that still happens to this day, right? In the 70s, there was a more demand for designer bags, and a lot of designers began licensing their brands and putting their logos on things that weren't up to their usual standards. That made the brand seem much less prestigious, and it kind of backfired on a lot of them. At the same time, they had the rise in the 70s of the hippie movement, and it boosted the popularity of slouchy bags. So there was a lot of bags made of leather, suede, canvas, velvet, and you can see here we have two different celebrities. On the left, we have Elizabeth Taylor, and do you believe that's Stevie Nicks on the right? I did not recognize her. That's not how I know Stevie Nicks. I know her with that super long hair, but that's Stevie Nicks. So anyway, you have two fashion icons here with two different kinds of more slouchy bags. Now, these aren't really hobo bags. They're just slouchier bags made with softer materials. And then in the 80s, trends turned from hippie to yuppie. And a lot of fashion was about excess. And Karl Lagerfeld did a great job of capitalizing on this. He was hired to revive Chanel's brand in the 80s. And he relaunched the iconic 255 quilted bag with a few modifications. He made the chain flatter and put the logo on the front and center. And for the first time, he did that. That usually they didn't do it that way. And it was incredibly successful. We have a slide to show you of that here. So on the left there, you'll see Coco Chanel, and on the right, you'll see the 80s version of the 255 bag. Now, they still have this bag. You see it all the time. It's just that the flat piece where the logo is now more of a rectangle piece. And, otherwise the shape itself really hasn't changed that much. So this inspired a lot of other brands like Dior and Gucci to go back to classic silhouettes so they could recover their prestigious status, and it worked. The 80s weren't just about classic bags. New trends and materials were popular too. Prada designed the Vela, which was a practical and stylish ripstop nylon backpack. It was unheard of at the time to use vinyl for designer bags, so Prada really changed people's idea of what luxury meant. By the end of the 80s, demand was back up again. This time, instead of just increasing production at the risk of losing quality, brands released a limited number of bags, which made them even more coveted. And they still do that today. In the 90s, pop culture's influence on bag making was stronger than ever. And in an episode of Sex and the City, Carrie Bradshaw was mugged by a man who demanded her Fendi bag. I don't know if you remember the scene if you watched Sex and the City. Before she hands it over, she tells him, "This is a baguette." And that caused the Fendi baguette to become an instant cult classic and a staple of the late 90s fashion. And on the right there, you'll see that Fendi baguette. In the show, it was a sequin. You can see it's kind of like a purple sequin baguette bag. But yeah, that so shows and of course, all this influenced bags, and brands that maybe weren't popular one day became super popular the next day, maybe just by a TV show. Not that Fendi wasn't popular before, but that just goes to show you that things can certainly jump up overnight. And of course, not everyone carried designer bags. On the more casual level end of the spectrum, you would see a lot of fanny packs and backpacks and classic leather shoulder bags. DIY also had a movement. If you remember, there was a lot of crocheted bags. And then denim totes from old jeans and such, which of course a lot of people still do today. So that brings us to the turn of the century. And as technology evolved, we needed space for our computers and our devices. So satchels and large totes have made a comeback. And in the early 2000s, celebrities were hugely influenced on what bags were popular. Just like the 80s, excess was trendy again. So big logos, metallics, and giant bags were super popular. Here you see Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian carrying a Louis Vuitton bag, one in gold and one in silver. And then on the right, you see Rihanna with a Marc Jacobs bag. And these bags were big in the 2000s. So, of course, the internet also changed bag making forever. Online shopping made designer goods more accessible, and people in rural areas didn't have to drive hours to a department store. They could order what they wanted to online without ever leaving their house. It's also easier than ever to buy authenticated second-hand designer goods now. And you see those sites everywhere, and people are certainly buying those. Why not? A lot of people take really great care of their handbags. So the internet also allowed people to share content and give their opinions, and like never before. I mean, let's face it, the internet has really changed our world, and you can discover and comment in real time. We can make and watch YouTube videos, which of course you're doing right now, and we can buy bag making supplies online very easily. They're much more accessible, which of course makes our fun better, right? It's so much nicer when you can get things you need. So designer handbags are as big of a status symbol as ever. The luxury handbag market has been growing for years, and it's not slowing down. In fact, the global handbag market hit over 100 billion with a B, billion. And in the next 5 years is what they're expecting. Isn't that crazy? $1 billion. So this is partly in reaction to the fast-moving fashion industry. It's pumping out, some cheap and poor quality bags at unprecedented rates. This is causing a lot of people to kind of rethink their bags, and they're ready to pay a little bit more for better quality bags and things that will be passed on throughout the generations. In addition, a lot of people are going back to exotic leathers and good quality leathers, and natural fibers are also making a comeback, like jute and cotton. They're doing amazing things. I mean, there's some beautiful bags out there with that. A lot of people are also choosing custom bags, as y'all know, the makers out there. And, people, if they want something specific, they would rather have somebody make the bag exactly how they want it and pay a higher price for it. So that is what makes what we do so wonderful, is that we have a lot of people out there that really want our product and they want specifics. And I think one of the, I would say strangest, but it's not really strange, it's just different to me, is I had a lady one time ask me to make her a bag, and inside she wanted no pockets, none, zero. And so I made her a bag with no pockets. She was tickled pink. So that's what, of course, makes bag making so fun, is that everybody wants something different. It can be a little frustrating too sometimes, right? But overall, it's a lot of fun. So another shift we're seeing is online influencers. So you go on to anything, TikTok or Instagram, and you have these influencers, and they are really making a huge impact on what's popular. And so it's really interesting to see how they're going to change and affect the industry. It's not just celebrities anymore. It's really more than that now. And it's going to be really interesting to watch the trends and kind of see what happens. So we have another slide we want to show you here, and this is something that is up for a lot of debate. Okay, this is kind of an opinion, but it's something I saw that I thought was really interesting, and it is from a luxury brand guide or a website called Curator, I guess. But basically what it is telling you what they feel like the top tier bags are. It's based on money, so dollar wise, how much you pay for a bag, and it's also based on kind of the niche. So at the top of our pyramid, we see the Hermes and we see the Chanels, and those are supposed to be the top. Now, there's a lot of debate right now with Chanel, especially. They're saying a lot of the quality of Chanel has gone down. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I don't own a Chanel bag, never have, but everybody's got an opinion here. The second tier is the legacies, which is the Cartier and the Dior and some of those higher brands that we, of course, know and hear about. The classics are the Gucci's, the Fendi's, the Burberry's, Prada, things that are high-end, obviously, and just have that super classic feel to them. Contemporary are going to be our Alexander McQueen's and kind of that genre of different bags. And then the accessible luxury bags are the Coaches, the Tory Burch, the Kate Spade, Michael Kors, those bags, the Boss, Hugo Boss, Coach, the things that we maybe see a little more regularly in our local stores that we can buy without having to go to a high-end store per se. Okay, so over the next few weeks, we are going to be talking about specifics of some of these designers. And next week, we're going to visit Louis Vuitton. We're going to kind of look at the history of Louis Vuitton and see kind of what has happened with him. I know that we have a Chanel one planned, we have a Dior one planned, we have all different kinds. But if there's something specific you want to see, go ahead and drop it in the chat, and we'll certainly add it to the list, because this is the kind of stuff I find really exciting. Okay, so we are going to move on to Artistry Avenue, and Artistry Avenue is where we feature our artists. So if you have a bag, a Simply Classic bag that you have created, go ahead and post it in the Facebook group. It's Simply Classic Facebook community. And if you either don't know how to post on Facebook, or maybe you don't have Facebook, you don't want to post on Facebook, no worries. Go ahead and send us an email. Send it to share@simplyclassic.net. And if you are featured as an artist, you will win a PDF Simply Classic pattern of your choice. So let's take a look at our artists this week. First, we have Betty Vega Marini, and Betty made this beautiful Shirella. She made it out of cork. She used nickel hardware, and I have to confess, this is one of my favorite colors. It's kind of a Simply Classic color, that kind of greenish blue, and it's just beautiful. I love it. She did a great job. The second one we want to feature is Linda Woods, and she made a Bircham. This Bircham, I think the very first Bircham I made was out of this navy ostrich. It is just like a classic color. I love that she used the Harper saffron lining. And of course, links for all of these things are in the description if you want to see what we have available on our website. I know we still have some Harper saffron lining and the navy ostrich, but she just did a fantastic job. This is great, Linda. And then Shirla Nelson McManus made this sienna. And I was so excited when I read her post. She said, "This is my first real purse." It's the first real purse she's ever made. Can you guys believe this is her first bag? Look at it. She did a fantastic job. So she used lining that matched the faux, and this is a discontinued faux, so she was lucky enough to get it. It was beautiful black and dogwood. And then she used a chain strap for it. So she really did a fantastic job. I love this. So congratulations to all the artists that were featured this evening. Make sure you email share@simplyclassic.net. Let us know what pattern you like, and then we will go ahead and get it to you right away. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and have you type in the magic word for the giveaway. And it is actually numbers tonight. It is 2025. So 2025. Go ahead and type that in the chat. And while we're waiting for the computer, give you guys a chance to stick it in and waiting for the computer to pick a winner, we're going to go ahead and look to see if we have any questions tonight that we can answer. And Valerie asks, are you planning to have another bag making class in February? So I'm working on a new pattern for a new class. We are planning on having the pattern done sometime this month. We'll probably film in February, and the class will probably be in March. If there's enough demand for another beginner class with Banda, we will certainly do it. So let us know if you are interested in that. You can either drop it in a chat. You can certainly email us. You can email share@simplyclassic.net or info or me, any of the simplyclassic.net emails, and let us know. And if there's enough demand for it, we certainly will. We want everybody to have a chance to take the class. But we have several new classes, virtual classes planned for 2025, and we're working on one so we can get it up as soon as possible. So we're really excited about that. So Sunshine, oh, I love that. Sunshine asked, oh, wow, how beautiful. Do you have the kit with the same ones you used? So I think you're specifically referring to the pairings that I did, and we do not have a kit. However, we do have all the faux available online. So you can go in and choose the faux that you would like to use, and we have them all in descriptions, so you can go ahead and pick and choose. And look in your workroom too, because you might already have something very similar that you can go ahead and grab and use, instead of buying a whole roll of something. Obviously, the thing about this when you're using this kind of materials is sometimes you have to be a little bit picky about what section of the faux you use, kind of like that snake. So just kind of see what you have. And if not, obviously we are more than happy to go ahead and get you some of the faux samples and different things that we have. And then of course you can make several things with them. It's not just the one bag, especially when you're piecing together. So Elaine said, will you carry Tech 70 thread too? Yes, Elaine, we do hope to carry it. Philtech is in the process of trying to create some Tech 70 threads to match their 45 colors. So I'm not really sure how long that process is going to take. They do have some basic colors like black and sand and some of those. So we'll probably go ahead and get some of those in stock so that you can at least get the basic colors. And then as time goes on, they will be adding some of the more colorful colors that you saw in last week's live. Really brilliant, bright, gorgeous colors. So Diane asked, I'm looking for a new sewing machine between the Juki TL18 and the Burnett 08. Any input on those two? Well, I, as you know, have a Burnett 08. I have sewn on the Burnett 08. I love the Burnett 08. You're going to be seeing a lot more videos on the Burnett 08. I have not used the Juki TL18. However, I have heard it is very similar to the Burnett 08, and actually did a little bit of research on it recently because so many people haven't used it, and Juki has a great product. So I would say maybe just kind of look at which one you can get serviced easily in your area, and maybe even price. We have obviously links, and if you go to our website, we have a new section called recommended products, and they're resources where you can actually go and purchase that Burnett machine from a College Station, Texas dealer. That they're fantastic. They'll help you out, and they've been wonderful. Also, some sew type magnets, and we also have an Amazon storefront. So if you want to kind of browse through there and see what kind of things I use in my workroom, and maybe grab a few things, you're welcome to do that. And of course, they are affiliate links. We do appreciate it, but I'm never going to recommend anything to you that I wouldn't use myself. I think you guys know that by now. Okay. Will you be offering another online class? Jackie asks. And yes, absolutely will. Again, we're working on the pattern right now, something very unique, something that one of you suggested. And hopefully we will have that done by the end of the month. We'll film, and then we'll get it up as soon as possible because we really want to get another class out to you. Okay. So we are going to see who won the giveaway. And this is for the Size Swag calendar. And that is Uni Harborg. So congratulations, Uni. You have won the calendar. As soon as we get it, we will get it out to you. So make sure you email share@simplyclassic.net. Let her know that Shauna, let her know your address. And we hopefully will have it soon and get it out to you. And congratulations. That's a great savings. Hopefully you get a lot of use out of that. I'm sure you will. So I hope the internet hasn't been too bad tonight, or our hotspots. Again, thank God for hotspots. Between the hurricane and other issues we've had throughout the year, we could not have survived without our hotspots this year, full disclosure. But I appreciate you all being here, starting off the new year with us. We are very thankful for all of you. I want to remind you that we will be back next Thursday, which is January 9th, 2025, and we're going to talk about playing with color. So we have some color things going on tonight. We're going to continue that to next week. And until then, everybody, I want to say Happy New Year and happy sewing.